So, good afternoon for us in the end, and welcome to launching the Labelizer. This is actually not the first time that we're doing this, but so we're getting a little bit used to it. But
Yeah, definitely.
it's always a hassle or a challenge to create the best setup, edit the slides and stuff. But we're here, and we're very happy that you've joined this webinar so that we can share a lot about the launch of the Labelizer with you in the coming hour. So let's head off, right?
Yeah, but here we
Here
are.
we are. Okay, perfect. So Arjan, this is not the first time that we're sitting here because 2 weeks ago we actually launched the Labelizer for our customers, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, they were all very enthusiastic about the fact that they can now use the Labelizer within our platform or within the library, as
Yeah,
we call it, the Flowboost platform. And two things that I remember from that webinar very much are that companies actually experience a lot of issues with seasonality, and on one end, adapting to it with the products in your feed, and otherwise, on secondly, making sure bestsellers who have or experience a little bit of a setback don't get pushed to another bucket with a different strategy that you don't want to use at this point. So
yeah, that's true.
my name is Tom. I'm responsible for the commercial at Flowboost, meaning marketing and sales. I usually say I'm part of the front of the house. I worked in hospitality a lot. And today I'm here with Arjan. He's the back of the house, actually, responsible for product.
Yeah.
Any short introductions that you want to share?
Yeah, well, my name is Arjan. I do product at Flowboost. Together with Floris, we've been quite active on LinkedIn, sharing our scripts. Most of you guys probably know what the Labelizer is. And now we have been developing that, which we are going to talk about today. Besides that, I still do Google Ads for some clients, which is nice. Always in the campaigns myself as well.
Cool.
So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Nice. We have a lot to talk about. I created the agenda for this day, and we set up the slides. We're like, okay, there's so much to talk about within the Labelizer landscape and all the questions and stuff. So let's get going. And first off, we would like to invite you all to do some sort of warm up with us. So feel free to open the chat and give us some heads up on terms of what's your biggest pain with seasonal products at this point. So type one, if you're catching trends too late, possibly. Type 2, if you have the wrong products at peak season. Type 3, if you have too much wasted budget in low season. And type 4, if you're just here to learn. We're very curious.
Yeah, and I'm also curious to see how many faces I recognize from people that are using our script. So let's see.
Can we?
Yeah, we can.
Definitely nice.
All right, let's see if the comments come in. There's probably some delay. So let's see who's going to type 1, 2, 3, or 4. Yeah, so we have quite a few slides to go ahead. So this won't take too long.
Yeah. What is your biggest pain with seasonal products?
Catching trends too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely one of the issues. Like, for example, it's now getting warmer weather here in the Netherlands. And I have a web shop where like products are very intense on, or like very impactful on the type of weather.
Mm-hmm.
So like 1 week it can be very bad weather, and then the indoor LEDs can be very high in demand.
Yeah.
But then the next week, like when it's beautiful outside, people are more into the garden stuff and want to buy outdoor lamps.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
So this week everyone has bought an air conditioning or a fan. In
yeah, I
Netherlands,
saw some news about it as well.
It's always the same. Okay, let's.
Yeah, I see some fours. So people are here to learn. And a 1 and a 1. Okay. and some more force. Yeah, okay. Well, a lot of people here to get to learn more about what we are doing and about what the Labelizer is going to be helpful for them. So
Nice.
that's good.
Yeah, in that case, I think it's very interesting to maybe talk a little bit more about how the labelizer works in general, so that we all know what labeling or the labelizer, using the labelizer means.
Yeah.
But if we go over to the agenda for the coming 50 minutes or so, we've done the warm welcome and we've done the awkward start of this webinar, but after this, we're moving over to the problem with scripts and spreadsheets in general. We have a demo prepared. Actually, Arjan, you have a demo prepared of the Flowboost labelizer. Yeah, we'll show you a little bit more about what's next, so what's coming, and have room for questions. Also, we have prepared a limited offer for attendees
Definitely.
to try and use the labelizer, but more on that later.
All right. Well, a lot of things that we can unpack in the coming 15 minutes. So let's start.
Yeah, we're going to dive into performance changes and how you are missing opportunities, I would say, when signals can't keep up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, Arjan, I think the best possible way to start this webinar is to have a general understanding, a starting point of how does a labelizer work?
Yeah. So the labelizer, it's a automation where basically the automation takes all of your Google Ads data, your historical performance data, and uses that to categorize all of your products into different buckets. And those buckets are categories based on performance. So you have a high performing category, a lower performing category, but also a potential high performing category. And we call those indexes.
Okay.
And those indexes are over index, the normal index, which is called index, near index, that's your potential high performers, the under index, and no index, the ones that don't have any data yet, or not sufficient.
Okay, and how do you decide what product goes in what?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we take your conversion data, your conversion value, your conversions, your conversion rate, and do that again, or compare that against the averages what you see in your account.
Okay.
So it is dynamic, and there are also other rules like clicks, cost to make it significant before they move up into a different bucket.
Yeah.
And it's also a bit linear where every product starts in no index and then moves up, or actually goes below no index and then it's an under index. So that's how we have built it, and there are a set of rules that we use there.
Okay, cool. So, and I think that once a product is in a certain bucket, then every bucket has a different strategy in your Google Ads, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
I do see one question coming in, which I quickly want to spot from Kerckhaert. I still see the Q video loop. I hope nobody else sees it, because when I watch the preview, we are good. Garrett, for you, if you can reload your page. Can you also quickly check if we are indeed showing the right presentation, because we don't want to keep all of the information away from you guys. That wouldn't be a good one.
Yeah, also have the same slide as we are discussing now.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't see Garrett's comment anymore. So
Okay, no, perfect.
we can move on.
Perfect.
Okay, so take it back from here. We've discussed how the labelizer actually works in general. But now we're going to move over to, okay, what are problems with the current way of how we're using the labelizer, right?
Yeah, because before we really dive into the details of this, we built a script, and that's the labelizer script, or it was called the labelizer script, then performance script, and now it's called the product labelizer script. Because it's for shopping, it's made for shopping, so it takes all of your products data. But we have been building this for over 3 years, I think already. It's been really quite a long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, during the years we have made updates to the script, but we've also seen a lot of requests from other people and a lot of support questions about certain limitations, about things that people run into.
Mm-hmm.
So we fixed those, and we try to fix those. Not everything is fixable,
Okay.
unfortunately. So some of the things that we saw are basically that we have issues with both spreadsheets and Google Ads scripts. So our Google Ads script or other Labelizer Google Ads scripts use spreadsheets to push that data into Merchant Center, where your inventory of your products basically live and that you can use in Google Ads. So what we saw is bigger accounts with a lot of products or complex campaigns, so that we are running out of time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a hard limit of 30 minutes runtime in Google Ads.
Yeah.
So that's not possible. You cannot build very complex situations. Also, we have added in one of the updates a version where you see graphs of your products and see visualization of how things are moving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that isn't possible if you go beyond 5,000 products or have more than X amount of campaigns.
Yeah.
So that was one of the features that got requested so much.
Yeah.
And that's really unfortunately that we cannot do that. Another thing is that if you run your script over the years, you collect a lot of data.
Mm-hmm.
And spreadsheets actually have a limitation as well. Like you can have a total of a number of columns or cells, and that also hits a limit. So I got a lot of support questions from that. And also sometimes something breaks or people were not always filling in the right variables or had questions or they wanted something similar or simpler or actually more advanced.
Yeah.
So people wanted more customability, but also make it more simple.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
both sides of the coin, basically. And another third one is that some people wanted to move beyond what the script's capabilities are. Especially we wanted to do that internally. We wanted for our own clients to build something using inventory data, using other platforms, using other integrations. But yeah, for a custom build that costs like around 5 to 10,000 euros. And that's not really possible for a lot of e-commerce clients of ours. So yeah, those are the issues that we saw.
Okay.
And that's why the idea came that we always wanted to build something else.
Yeah. I see that we also have some slight issue with the slides. I think we need to exit the slideshow and open it again if possible.
Why?
Because this is not the right version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me quickly.
Yeah, and this is also the part where we move over to the live demo, right? So there's
there's an overlap.
Use the overlap.
All right, perfect.
Okay, so to summarize, main problems people actually want to have a lot of. There's a hassle in setting it up yourself currently. It's not that it's very basic. So if you want to have like custom logic or you want seasonality involved or you have, for example, multiple countries, it becomes difficult real quick or complex real quick, and then it becomes a lot of work to manage it. When you have multiple clients active in multiple regions or multiple countries, you can imagine that, it gets difficult real quick, right? And that's actually what we solved, right? With making software out of it, putting it in a SaaS, I would say.
Yeah, definitely.
What topics will you discuss in the demo? Because you're going to show us how we fixed all this.
Yeah, I'm going to show you how the product looks, how the product works. I give you some more background information and explanation to make a deeper understanding of how it works. Some new features that we've built in that were not possible with the script or another solution. And go from like the basic adding a Labelizer project to the end where we run it and we view the graphs. Unfortunately, we cannot show the Merchant Center because that's client specific.
Yeah.
But we can do everything else. So we can show you how it works. So let's do that right now. And yeah, another parts that I see on the slide are seasonality, label logic, which I will show, and profit-based bidding, which is very, very interesting. And we will show you the basic version of that and something else in the future.
Yes, nice.
So I hope this works. Yes, it does. Okay, cool. So we are inside of the Flowboost library currently. And for your guys' information, I will quickly show you where we are. So you have your workspace. In this case, we use a demo workspace in your Google account. And here under products, you have the labelizer and automations, which is something we are not going to talk about today, but it's something that we are working on. So if you are in the labelizer, you can see that we have an overview of one existing project for the labelizer, but we will create one with you guys. So there's this very nice blue button, which you will click on, and then we have our set up your project settings page. In here, you have basically your name if you want to set the project active and schedule it.
And I can like ask questions in between,
Yeah,
right? And just
definitely.
interrupt you
Definitely.
wherever
Yeah.
I'd like. What is a project?
Yeah, so a project is basically what we have seen as, or what we see as one script that does, or like one automation that does one specific job. So it can be seasonality for shorter term. It can be one specific country that you want to run the labelizer for. It can be something you want to experiment with. It's one specific project for your Google Ads account.
Yeah, so in the case that I'm active in like Germany, Italy, and Spain, I create 3 projects, for example,
Yeah.
and I can easily manage all those countries within the Flowboost library, side by side. And for seasonality, I just create one project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and another one is actually besides countries, you can also do it for different product categories or types.
Okay.
So if you have electronics and you have a higher margin, you can use a different target ROAS for your segmentation. Or if you have clothing, maybe your margins are way less, and then you actually set a lower or higher target ROAS depending on what goals you have.
Wow.
But then you actually run 2 labelizers specifically for those categories.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Yeah. And what else we can do here in the schedule is you can actually change this. And with the frequency of this, you can also push it to Merchant Center hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly. I will keep it for now on monthly for the demo.
Yeah.
Well, we click save, and then we go next to the configuration. This is very extensive because this is both configuration, Google Ads filters, and product filters. There's a lot of things that you can set here, even their advanced settings. I'll quickly go over the ones that I found really interesting and are helpful, and some of the things that we've built new in the software.
Okay. Because this is actually like, so with creating or with launching the labelizer, we are actually putting software in the middle of your Google Ads account and the Merchant Center, right, to make things easier. But the other, like the heart of the labelizer is the configuration, right? Because you actually get this logic, which was usually a little bit complex, on the click of a button, right? And you can easily add it and expand it and whatever.
Yeah. So right now it's a very simple setup, in my opinion, where you can set some date ranges. You can change if you want to enable it or disable it without making a mistake. So it will always run. The version that you create when you have a project, it's very simple. So there are no filters, no conversion actions that you can select or something. There's no, like for the product filters are not filled in. So everything, you can actually click through it and only set your target ROAS and you're fine.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you would like to change the date range to 30 days or something longer for like the trends of seasonality, but that's everything.
So that's
And
like
then basically
5 minutes, 10-minute setup.
yeah, basically if you only want to change your target ROAS to 300, you click save and you go to Merchant Center and then you go and run the labelizer. However, if you are a specialist and you want to do stuff that is more exciting, then you can change actually quite a lot. So actually what's really exciting is Google Ads filters and product filters. So you talked about the 3 different segmentations for the countries, like Spain, Germany, and Italy, for example. You can here now select like multiple feed labels in Google Ads, which also selects it from Merchant Center. So for example, in this case, it's only a Dutch client of ours. You can select NL as a feed label, but also the targeting. So we can have both a feed label NL, but serve both in the Netherlands and Belgium. And then we can actually select, okay, I only want the Netherlands. So those are very interesting. I will undo them for the demo. So those are very interesting. Then you can set up like an Italy or Spain market segmentation. And another thing that you can do in Google Ads is select your conversion actions. So basically, we always select your primary conversion actions as a default, which makes sense. However, if you have like Profit Metric installed where you run both revenue and gross profit conversion actions, you can select here your gross profit conversion actions. So for example, we can go in here and we use the browser and conversion booster of Profit Metrics. And now we only segment on gross profit. And that means actually if you do this is like a little tip. Don't set your target ROAS to 300 because with POAS 100% is your break even POAS. You would set this maybe at 150%. So that's very useful to get like a sort of your POAS labelizer. Besides that, there are a lot of product filters which you can now select. These have been extended to also different filters. So for example, you can select your brand is Nike. You can do that here, or contains, or start with, whatever you want, and it works. And maybe you only want to condition on refurbished products. So you can actually run a labelizer strategy as well. I just came up with a new idea. Run a if you sell smartphones and you have a smartphone category for refurbished and new, you can actually run 2 labelizers automations, one for refurbished and one for new. With a different target.
Yeah, that's nice.
So that's useful. So let's undo this because I want to show the demo as well. All right, let's set this to 300, which I would like for this client, and select the conversion actions and revenue because that has been filled in for this client. All right, let's click save. I made a mistake there. All right, cool. Then we go to Merchant Center, and I will click refresh here. So in Merchant Center, you select your account, the one that has been set to the Google Ads account, and then you have this very important button, sync. That actually means if you want to sync your data from Google Ads to the labelizer in Flowboost to the Merchant Center with the correct labels. If you set this to enabled, that works immediately. So we set it to enabled, and you can select your custom label. So that can go from 0 to 4. And hopefully this works, the data sources. But then you can also select if you have multiple data sources, for example, with countries. For example, Italy and the feed label Italy. I hope this is going to work. Otherwise, we are going next, and we can show you later as well, or you can try it out for yourself. Well, this is going to take a minute, so let's continue. You see this always happens with live demos. All right, let's go to advanced. Well, this is very basic for now. If you are managing a client in a different time zone, for example, the US for us, you want to change the time zone to work the monthly schedule in that specific country, and not run it here, for example, here at midnight. That's not midnight in the US. And then overview. Here you have like a clear overview of what has been set up. Google Ads, Merchant Center, your target ROAS, your conversion actions. If you select your data source, if you scheduled it, and if the labels are gonna be synced to Merchant Center, which is a very nice overview. And I actually see now that Merchant Center is not working because it's orange.
Yeah.
So that's also a good part of the demo, that you get these warnings and you can click edit and update it. And then you get like a message why. However, if you didn't connect Merchant Center, it still works. It gets your data from Google Ads, but it will not be enriched with Merchant Center data. which is something that we encourage. Are you ready?
I am.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's run it. All right. So as you can see here, it worked, of course.
So what's happening?
Okay, so what's happening is before this webinar, I changed something a little bit, and something happened during the Merchant Center. So I actually removed the Merchant Center connection, but I didn't re-edit. So it gave now an error that it's required, and I have to configure one in the account settings.
Okay.
Sure, we are not going to do that. I'm going to show you a previous run that I did. That has been finished. As you can see, everything is green. Everything has been working. 71 of 17 products have been also pushed to Merchant Center.
This is great, right?
Yeah.
Great overview. Yeah.
But then we also have the graphs. So in here you can see all of your product data, which allows you to see per bucket the performance, to see your total cost, to see your conversion value, your ROAS, but also per label. So this is like a really nice overview. Hey, client, we are going to talk this through. We see a lot of cost in under index. What's happening? Why is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
This opens like a great discussion with your client. However, yeah, for this client, we are not doing a bad job, and we just said the target ROAS was too high. But that's a good one.
Yeah, I think it's best in the end, right? Where the true value is in adding the labelizer for the customer that you're working for or for your company, and seeing the value that is shown here in the graphs, I would say.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, or maybe not so funny, but I think the interesting part is that on one way it says, okay, this is our performance, so it's a review of performance in the end. But it also in the end starts a discussion about strategy and the type of products that we have, and do we need to change things or maybe try something different. So this is really also a starting point of a way of strategically working together or working as a marketer within a company. So yeah, really
definitely
exciting.
Yeah, and well, you actually made a good point that you can discuss the performance per label. But if you run like different countries, then you can also discuss performance per label by different country.
Yeah.
So you can see, hey, but I have like 15 over index products, and you have a store of 50 products. But why is, like, for example, Germany only showing 3 products? What's happening in the difference between those markets?
Yeah.
So that's a nice way. Any questions about the demo? Do you want to see something else? Do you have questions about the settings, Tom?
Yeah, well, I was going over the fact that we said, okay, this demo includes setting up the Labelizer project.
Yeah.
Which we did. The Google Merchant Center sync, which failed.
Yeah.
But we've seen how it works.
Yeah, and actually the great thing, actually want to expand on that, is that it showed an error, but it also sent me an email that the error happened. So now I actually get an email and I know what's up and I can change it.
Yeah, instead of
blindly
knowing.
Yeah.
Now we have like some sort of feedback loop. You definitely have a feedback loop because you get a notification. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
We would also touch upon seasonality label logic within the demo and the profit-based labeling. I think most is covered, right? Or do you have any additions?
No, no, I don't.
Maybe the audience, anyone a question regarding the demo from Arjan? I'm looking at the chat right now, but the only thing I see is 6-7 at this point. I don't know if that's a question.
I don't know.
But this is great, Arjan. Thanks a lot for sharing. I think it's time to move to the next part of the webinar, because
let's go.
In the end, you mentioned earlier, and that's what I find very interesting, is it's about the differentiator, right? So now lots and lots of marketers use the Labelizer scripts and have bought it, have used it, are editing it. But you said the thing you said was some things, some setups are impossible with the scripts, right?
Yeah.
So could you share us a little bit more about what you mean and what this implies? Or
Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to show two ways that the new Labelizer actually can help you build out those strategies.
cool.
But there are more ways because we already talked a bit about a few other strategies that you can do. For example, by product type, by category, conversion actions you can experiment with. So a lot of things that you can do, but I will deep dive into two of them to give you like an idea. However, I do see some questions coming in.
Oh,
I don't know if you have the chat open.
I have the chat open, but I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, then I will show it here on screen.
Yeah.
All right. So we have a question from Chris. So feels more. Wait, I can also put it on the screen, and then I will go back to the demo page. I think that works. Yeah, perfect. All right, Chris has a question. Feels more like a reporting taxonomy than a decision-making framework. How does this account for margin, scale efficiency, and future bid elasticity rather than just best performance? That's a very in-depth question. A good one. Yeah, for right now, it's indeed more like reporting than decision making. However, you can see different trends over periods as well. If you run like, for example, multiple projects side to side. So you can set one, for example, on a longer date range, like 90 days, and see what's happening there compared to a 14-day date range. And you can see like how it changes in your product distribution. So that's one way. And margin is actually a very good one in scale efficiency. We are going to account for that in the future. We will release margin as a possibility to add. Also add it as like your margin is already included if you use like a conversion action with gross profit.
Yeah.
If you have other questions about this, Chris, let's discuss it in the Q&A because it's very in-depth. I also saw a question from Stefano. And Stefano asked if I bought script, I will always have access to the SaaS. What do you think, Tom?
I think we came up with a great offer at the end
Yeah.
of the webinar to help you update from the script towards the SaaS that we are launching now.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a question from Liam also coming in.
Yeah. So Liam asked, can you adjust the label names? Is there an option to exclude brand shopping campaigns that we now skew overall product ROAS and create issues with setting the ROAS benchmark? Okay, those are multiple questions. Let's discuss that in the Q&A. I will remember your question, Liam, because those are like 4 questions, and I think I can answer each one of them. But let's take it in the Q&A.
Yeah, and make sure that in the end, what we'll do is we'll grab all questions from the chat, and if we didn't discuss it, we'll make sure that we follow up in the emails afterwards, so
Yeah.
that we can answer all questions. But we do not have the time to discuss every topic in this webinar. But thanks a lot for the questions. Okay.
All right, cool. Well, I'm going to show the 2 ways, the 2 strategies that we have.
Yeah.
Well, we came up with use case 1, and that's seasonality, and that also is part of a little bit of his question. So, and also one of the things that I actually have a lot of, well, not struggle, but yeah, I kind of struggled in the past with for one of my clients, especially with related to the weather. So that was actually when, like for example, now it's for that specific client, it's like high peak season, especially with this nice weather. It's seasonality for outdoors. So when the season started for this client, in the past years, we saw that campaigns were not catching up, and we made a very basic split of outdoor and indoor campaigns because the client didn't have a lot of data. But the outdoor campaign just catches up only like a few weeks after. And while the client saw like products being pushed by competitors way more and sales lagging behind. So in the graph, you can see that when the season starts, it goes up, but then only the campaigns are catching up actually maybe after the peak, if it's a short peak, or halfway through the peak. And then you lose revenue
Yeah, definitely.
and missed opportunities there. So how you can fix this with the labelizer is that you not own well for the specific categories that are high impactful by seasonality that are not evergreen, you can run a shorter date range and make a segmentation for that specifically. And another way is that you can run, for example, 2 labelizer projects, one for indoor, one for outdoor, and see those bucket change per category, and then see, okay, well, this product category is working well outdoors. We should set it in this campaign. This is more like for indoors. So you give more signal data to the campaigns, and the campaigns can easily quickly adjust to that.
Yeah. But in the end, you just want the weather forecast to to be added in this, right?
Yeah, that's true.
In this example.
Well, the forecast, yeah. Yeah, but not always, because it doesn't always happen. Because when it's for this specific client, when it's too sunny outside, like last weekend, the sales dropped like for 80%.
Yeah.
Because it was too warm and people actually didn't do anything in the garden. They went to the beach.
Yeah. So ideally, and maybe a little bit focused on the question that we received from Liam, is it can become a decision-making framework in the end if you combine like multiple inputs or logic into the mix. And I think the difference with what you had with scripts or what you're currently having with scripts and the setup that we've built, although it's a starting point, in the end we can add all these type of logic and inputs and make it into the decision making framework that you are probably looking for.
Yeah, definitely.
In the end.
Yeah, and I think that's also great that we are going to show you what's coming next, as we taught you on the agenda. Like if there's enough people that want this, or we see it internally here happening with our specialist, then we can build it, and we can build it because we don't have limitations of scripts.
Yeah. Can you go over the fact, okay, so I am a specialist, I want to use this now, what steps do I need to take?
Yeah, definitely. So you have one specific labelized project, and that project is for seasonality. So you select your seasonality products in it. You select a very short date range, like 7 days or 14 days, which you would have to adjust also some of your configurations, like index multiplier or amount of clicks that you need, so that it can move between the buckets. And then you select a custom label, of course. Ideally, something that you are using besides a normal labelizer project. And then actually what it does, it segments your products, but it's like those specific custom label that you can use in a different segmentation or a different campaign. So for example, you can put over index, near index, like the better performing products into a seasonal performance campaign. And what you can do with that is, okay, I see that it's going to be good weather. I will also add like a signal with a seasonal adjustment. Hey, this campaign needs to perform better with those products that are highly performing well, but also have seasonality. And then what happens is you outrun your competitors because you give the good signals, you give the right products dynamically ahead of time. And then, you start, you get like your competitors outperforming, and you get quite good data in. And then maybe for some other categories that you are running your campaign, you can set them to the default campaigns or a catch-all campaign.
Yeah. All right. Clear. I think
that's actually one part.
Yeah, this is focused on adaptability, right? On changes in the market, and I think weather forecasts or summer seasonalities, for example, is very great example in this. I read that it's different than using labels, right? But
so I think it is part of two components. Well, you have your labels; those are the way you can segment your campaigns. but the campaigns itself decide how your strategy is.
Yeah.
Because with that specific campaign, that is like a high-performing product campaign, where you can set a specific seasonality adjustment. When it's, for example, becoming good weather, you combine two components. You combine Google Ads itself, and you combine your logic that you set with your labels.
Yeah. So that's the clear difference between static labels and the Labelizer now. Okay, clear.
All right. And also when like a peak is like several weeks, and some product is actually not performing anymore, it will get removed from that campaign.
Yeah.
So it's very dynamic. All right, let's go to the second use case. Well, this is one actually we have already touched upon quite a bit already. So I had like a very nice client that I worked with that were in like 16 or 20 different countries in the EU. And we saw like different peaks of or market peaks at different times. However, yeah, with the script that we had at the time, we run it as one. And then we saw that when you see an animation, you see that very gray line that is slightly going up,
Yeah.
but not the peaks of the specific countries themselves. And what we got here is that, yeah, you were too late to pick up the peaks, or we picked up the peaks with like manual adjustments per campaign, but we wanted something more dynamically. And unfortunately, it's not possible with the script, or it was very hard to, specifically for this client because this client had like a lot of products, complex campaign strategies,
Yeah.
different rules, etc. So we built this for them. And now that you can use the Flowboost Labelizer in the Flowboost environment, you can create one project for each of the countries. And you can also, you can make it even more advanced. You can create different, for example, for different country per category, for example, or like indoor, outdoor per country. So you can combine seasonality with market peaks and market specific seasonality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great case, I think, because it's not the first time that we have a customer or a partner that's like, okay, managing multiple countries and seasonality and different categories. It's just a lot. So I think it's a big step moving away from spreadsheets and manual work into like this one environment where you can manage it very easily, and also maybe share it more easy, like if you want to share some insight with
Yeah, it was really useful because we combined this data and showed it to the client. We literally took them with us, looked at the screen, looked at how things were moving between the categories. And also like we got like an insight from the client, like, hey, I see this market growing, what's happening? And they would say, yeah, okay, let's adjust the labelizer a bit for that's one specific country. And that works great.
Yeah, really nice.
Because you don't have to adjust for the other markets.
Yeah. So real quick, how do you set it up?
Well, you create for each of your country a project, and you select feed label, campaign label, like location, and then you have one specific labelizer per country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the setup is very basic, but the insights and what you can do with it, that's really nice.
Okay.
And,
Nice. Okay. Before we started the webinar, you actually shared with me, okay, but this is just the beginning,
Yeah.
right? So, so I was very curious because what I saw until now is, I think it's a huge difference on how it previously or currently works and what we're offering now.
Yeah.
But can you share us a little bit more about what you expect to add in the coming period or next month?
Next month I already have some things that I'm building.
Okay.
Because I'm so excited about what we can do and what I see from our specialists, but also the people that have been testing this already, is that we see some great feedback. Of course, it's like we have one store that's now like a few million products that have been running, a few million, that has been working. But also we got some great feedback. And those two features that we want to build are coming this month in June. And that's I'm gonna talk in them with great detail, but
Yeah.
it's looking high performing products in different buckets. And it's smart rules. So you can configure them yourselves. Instead of relying on our buckets, you can make them yourself.
Wow. Okay.
So that's
So you
that's
create
gonna
your
be
own logic
yeah,
easily. Yeah. Nice.
definitely.
Okay.
All right, let's go into the first one. This is something that we really wanted to build. And so what this happens is it only happens when you run for a second or third or fourth time, etc. Is that once your product moves into a high performing bucket, for example, over index or index, you can actually pin them there and lock them, and it will not go down. If, for example, they have a bad week, they will not go down. If the performance drops, they will stay in that high category.
Yeah. So if it's 30 plus degrees Celsius and
Yeah.
nobody's buying anything,
Yeah.
you don't want your product to change to a different bucket. Okay.
No, and yeah, that's why. Because like we have had bestsellers, but we are using a dynamic setup, and we don't want to set bestsellers like locked in, but we do want to be dynamic, but over a longer period.
Yeah.
While having the dynamic stuff there. But then what we can do now, we are pre-testing this internally, is you can lock, for example, your over-index products, and those will not go down even for a bad week. And yeah, that gives us like a sort of bestseller campaign while being dynamic, because products can move up.
Yeah.
So a under-index campaign over time can become a very good product if like the market changes or your product over changes.
Yeah.
But once it's a bestseller or like an over-index product, it will not go down.
Or not that easy.
No, it cannot go down unless you manually select it will go down.
Okay. And so, and can products get stuck then?
No, because you have to manually set them back.
Okay.
Or and that's what we are also testing, maybe like with a little bit of a margin that you can set. Okay, maybe if it's really below for this amount of period, it will go down.
Yeah.
Because you don't want a sort of very lock and yeah, especially when you manage thousands of products.
Yeah.
You don't want to click manually everyone.
No,
down.
exactly. That's why
So
I think about it.
yeah,
Nice. It's
good
a great
question.
feature, I think, to add to the current setup. Really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the one I'm actually the most exciting about is smart rules. And that's actually well, we always have our own set of rules, and you can adjust some set of configuration, index multiplier, conversion rate, ROAS. However, yeah, we also saw that we got questions about people that wanted to have more conversion thresholds, or wanted to introduce margin or average order value or POAS, or I don't know what they wanted. A lot of different things. And now you can actually create your own buckets. Right now we have like in the visual, you can see over index, you can set your gross margin, you can set your ROAS, you can set like, I want the ROAS higher of 4, but maybe below 6. I want clicks beyond this number. However, yeah, there are so many parameters that you can add now, and you can create an infinite amount of buckets with different namings. So for example, you maybe want what do you want, Tom? What kind of bucket?
I was thinking about the clown bucket, but I don't know why. No, yeah, I understand. So yeah, you can say, okay, I have a specific group of products, and I don't call it over index, but I call it summer. I don't know what name I would choose. Do you have an idea?
Yeah, maybe your evergreen bestsellers.
Bestsellers evergreen.
Bestsellers evergreen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, then you can you can give it a color for your own visualization. You can give the name, and then you can set your rules underneath it, which can be like 7 different rules for that one specific bucket.
Nice.
And that gives a lot of customization for yourselves. Instead of relying on our logic, you can still copy our logic, and don't get me wrong, because it works. But if you want to go more in depth, you have this customability right now.
Yeah, yeah. I'm still. Well, you asked what type of bucket
Yeah.
I want to create. I was thinking about, okay, so this is the part where you actually combine performance data with my own data signals, right? In the
Yeah.
end. So, and that's I want to play around with it to try and grasp it, because the possibilities are endless with this, right?
Yeah.
And do we have some sort of limit or some sort of basic data set of data that I can add in now? Or do we have an idea of what types of data sources that we want to include in the
Yeah,
code?
everything right now is from Google Ads or Merchant Center.
Yeah.
So you can use cart data. You can use probably new and returning customers.
Nice.
You can use your margin. You can use profit data. Yeah, all of those things, or the basic impressions, clicks, cost.
Yeah.
Which you can add, and then you can create your own bucket based on that. For now, there are no CRM integrations or whatsoever, but all based on Google Ads data.
Yeah, but I think that's very extensive now, really.
Yeah.
To find out how smart tools can truly help you create your own bucketing logic. So great starting point. Really looking forward. I don't want to pin you on a certain due date on releasing this, but I think, yeah, this is actually like the true value of moving away from spreadsheets is all about. So brilliant.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's move beyond. I want to do a recap
Sure.
because we have been talking like a lot. And yeah, I want to tell you guys about what are the most important things to remember after this webinar.
Yeah.
What are the most takeaways? So, why should you use the Labelizer? Well, first of all, it improves your performance. I think that's the first one that everybody should know. You can segment your campaigns based on historical performance, be it long term, short term, be it a category that is now performing well or not.
Yeah.
You can change that also per country. So you can reduce wasted ad spend, improve your ROAS, scale it even, and you can push signals faster to the campaigns. And for example, with the one with the high summer, you can add seasonality as well.
Yeah. So if you are listening and thinking about, okay, hey, why should I use the Labelizer? This is like you did not already. This is the most important fact, right? It's definitely a big improvement on performance and the way to adapt to. We wrote down algorithm signals, but it's in the end Google Ads, right?
Yeah, it is. And the algorithm is the most important thing here.
Yeah. Okay.
And you give the right signals to it. And secondly, it's no more manual management. So once you set the project, which can be very easy within 5 minutes, or you can make it yourself, and especially in the coming update with smart labels, you can configure it however you want it. You don't have to change anything in scripts, in code. It's all very visually easy to do, and you can easily sync it with Merchant Center. So there is a direct API integration. You only have to select your feed label and your data source. No more switching with spreadsheets, having the right extras or not, XML feeds, whatever. It's directly pushed to Merchant Center. And once we push like an update live, we also or we push it live for everybody. So in the past, we had like different versions of the scripts, and every time we needed to update in like all of our clients' accounts, and that was like a horrible thing to do. So boring. But right now, if we push something live, it's for every client and everybody can use it.
Yeah.
And thirdly, it's set up for scale. So I already told you we have a client running millions of products in one account, in one Labelizer project. So that's working, but you can also add more complex filters for Google Ads, for shopping, for Merchant Center. You can use segmentation. You can write your own labels soon. And yeah, it's built for scale. And you can run multiple Labelizer projects as well, while maintaining a very simple setup.
Yeah. Okay, so it's a very comprehensive answer, I think, and the reasons to why should you use Labelizer. So we saw people saying, "Okay, I'm here to learn," and we saw people saying, "Catching trends too late."
Yeah, just like
And
me.
yeah, just like you. And I'm so curious because we're now moving over to like the final parts of this webinar. Um, one quick honest reflection first. So, in light of catching trends too late, and do you guys think that seasonal products in your feed get the attention they deserve? Could you share us a little bit about that? Just type one
Or
if you
type
say
2.
yes, or type two in case of no. I think if you're, yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Type
and
it
in the
on the chat.
meantime, ask your questions if you have them. We will go over them in a minute. And after the webinar, we will send a recap as well with the discount code if you forget it. Quickly remember, it's webinar 100. You can use that at checkout. So let's see if the chat is going. There's a little bit of a lag.
Yeah, I see that too.
Let's see. I will already put on the question screen, and I will put up.
Yeah, so feel free
questions.
to share any questions that you have in chat, and let us know if you think that your seasonal products get the attention they deserve by typing one for yes or two for no, and we'll go over the other questions real quick.
All right. Well, in the meantime, I will already start with one question that we got.
Yeah, perfect.
Then we can see the results of the other people. So I will put up this question by Liam. It's quite an extensive question, and that we already touched upon quickly. Can you adjust the label names? There are like 4 different questions here, so I will take them one by one. Yeah, you can adjust the label names if we roll out the smart label
When?
feature. When we do, then you can set your own label names. Is there an option to exclude branded shopping that can skew overall performance level ROAS and create issues with setting the ROAS benchmark? Yes, you can. You have a campaign label segmentation. And if more people want, we can maybe also have a segmentation for campaign name, but for now, label works. So it's possible. And the third question is, when utilizing profit metric conversion actions and segmented by here, is the value reported in the tool then POAS? Yes, it is. Good question. It is. And yeah, that's, I think, really powerful if you want to, or if your client or yourself is profit first mindset. You can use the profit metric conversion action and steer on POAS.
Nice. Thanks, Liam.
I did see 2 coming in, so they don't get a serve they don't get the attention they deserve.
No, unfortunately not.
Oh, that's a shame.
Other
All right.
questions? I think we have room for 2 more.
Yeah, we are running a bit over time already, but let's see. We got a question: should we subscribe to the service? Is it possible to receive assistance pre/during and maybe after the setup? Yes, you get a free month to try it out, and it's possible to receive assistance from me. If you have questions, you can ask me. We also have written a lot of help articles that you can check out as well. So I would recommend everybody to read those through first, see for yourself how it can help you. There are also some great tips in it. But if you're really stuck, you can message me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great answer. I think what's important, Julia, is that we have multiple levels in how we can support you. So always feel free to share a question or to ask for help in any case. If you decide that you want us, for example, to set up the labelizer for you, that's actually also possible, right? So if that's the case, feel free to reach out, and we're happy to help you out in setting up the labelizer for you.
All right, perfect. Are there any more questions? Do you have a question, Tom?
Putting me right on the
Yeah.
spot. No, I think that in the end, the custom rules which I'm looking forward to seeing in the Labelizer.
I think I only showed it to you today.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So don't tell the team. Don't tell the team yet, because
No, they don't have to watch
they
the
will get
webinar.
very
Please.
excited about it. No, I don't have a specific question about this. I think we tried and we shared so many information about the update, actually, as I like to call it, from the scripts towards the software, that
Yeah.
I'm very curious on the responses of marketers and specialists currently using the scripts. So like, okay, it would be insane or amazing if I could also do this or do that, because
Mhm.
the time between sharing ideas or feedback like that and implementing them was very long, and now is very short.
Yeah,
So
true.
yeah, that's my 2 cents.
All right.
And yours?
Well, I'm very excited about the smart rules as well. And I'm really glad about the positive feedback that we've had over the last few months with trying with different clients within Flowboost and also other agencies that are using it. So that's great when you're building a product that people want to use.
Yeah. So the kicker is here. The code to use is webinar 100 to use the Labelizer for free for the first month. So feel free to subscribe and try it out. And it's valid until Tuesday next week. So you can have some sort of doubt, but I think the best way to move forward is to just subscribe and try it out yourself.
Yeah.
Um,
Any questions that are coming in later,
Yeah.
we will answer them either in the comments or we will put them on email. And if you have a personal question, you can reach out to me. The email is in the slide. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Arjan. I found it great to do this together. So thanks a lot for sharing all your insights and knowledge about the Labelizer. And when will be the next one? In a month or so?
Let's hope so.
Let's go for it. Thank you very much, everyone.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.